Eagle County, Colorado. Paul Agneberg. Paul Agneberg. This guy is going to get arrested right after a debate. Right after a debate. Talk about some fucking shenanigans. My God. Paul Agneberg is 37 years of age, and he's challenging the incumbent sheriff, James Van Beek. He's challenging the incumbent sheriff, James Van Beek, and he had some traffic violations in a neighboring county and therefore had a warrant for his arrest right after the debate. The outstanding warrants were effectuated, and he got arrested right afterwards. And so, my God, okay, Vale Daily was the first to report the arrest. And Agneberg's, let's see, what's his first name? Paul. In Paul's opening statement, he billed himself as a candidate who would serve as a peace officer. People don't trust law enforcement. But Paul Agneberg, he wants to make Eagle County the safest county in Colorado so that people aren't scared of police and scared that police are going to rob them. Police are going to rob them? That's interesting. I mean, in a way. Here's a picture of his booking photo. He's not too happy. In his opening remarks, Sheriff Van Beek said, since I've taken office in 2014, so he's already been in office for 8 years. He thinks he's more important than motherfucking George Washington. You're more important than the man on the face of the dollar? You think you get to be sheriff for more than 8 years? God, you know, it's almost... The incumbent is so entrenched into the political system, they become almost impossible to kick out. So that's him getting arrested right afterwards. That's Paul Agneberg. Now, Sheriff Van Beek says there's been a dramatic change inside the sheriff's office. We've grown. I'm proud of the record that we've set. I'm proud of the team that we have here at Eagle County Sheriff's Office. Not exactly specific, Paul Agneberg outlined more of his policing philosophy, criticizing law enforcement system as a whole for prosecuting petty crimes. Paul Agneberg says a crime actually requires a victim and a perpetrator. The state is claiming to be injured by our actions, and it creates these victimless crimes in order to force its perception of morality and to generate revenue. Amen. Are you guys paying attention? This is Paul Agneberg, 37 years old, out of Eagle County, Colorado. Eagle County is on the western slope, on the northern end, northwest slope, Colorado. It's Lauren Boebert's district. So I'm the only candidate that's sitting here in front of you tonight that doesn't have outstanding warrants for his arrest, so I wanted you to know that as well. Van Beek said, so that's clearly... He's saying that he knows about it. He basically probably set the whole thing up. I'm here to work with everybody. I'm here to grow. I'm here to learn. I don't want your vote, and I asked for your vote come November 8th. And they want to sit there and say they were the first one to cover it because the sheriff was like, hey, he's got outstanding warrants. Why don't you get here and then we'll arrest him right after the thing. It's a little kind of, he's going to a debate. I mean, the Lincoln-Douglas debates, is that how that ended off? And then Lincoln arrested Douglas. And then Douglas arrested... There's actually a law in Colorado that if you were to get somebody from out of... If you were to subpoena somebody for a trial, you can only subpoena that person just for that trial. When they go to the trial, they can't be... you can't sue them. They can't have, legal documents dropped on them. And it was something subpoena out of state. I don't know exactly how it's worded, but something like that. So it's just interesting that they would take more, leeway with somebody that is subpoena, for a witness in order to testify for trial versus somebody running for sheriff. And it's such a clear... maybe it might work. Will it work? Well, he's clearly, that guy's a sheriff and that guy is not the sheriff. And then arresting the other person, all that talk with Donald and Hillary. Now people are actually, arresting the other. He's the main opposition, right? How many people was on that debate stage? 2 people? 2 people, huh? And then as soon as Donald left, Hillary Clinton put Donald in handcuffs. So, Paul Agneberg asked for a rebuttal 3 times through an imaginary challenge flag to make a dispute, but the forum had closed after Van Beek's remarks. So, it seems like the moderators and the newspapers all in on his arrest. Paul Agneberg was arrested on outstanding traffic violations out of Lake County, including failure to provide proof of insurance, expired plates, and driving without a license. His outstanding warrant in Eagle County was for driving without insurance and driving an unregistered vehicle. The video, let's see, his campaign sent a video of his arrest to Fox 31, which shows Paul Agneberg questioning the 2 deputies who were placing him under arrest. Paul Agneberg asked to see the warrant and pointed out that it needs to have a judge's signature. That's interesting. They had a warrant and it didn't have a judge's signature on it. This is the violence I'm talking about, intimidation. Paul Agneberg said in a video recorded by his friend Sammy Katz during his arrest. I couldn't find the video. Paul Agneberg asked to see the warrant and pointed out it has to have a signature of a judge on it. He said it's not a legitimate warrant to deputies and was told you can take it up with the judge. The Eagle County Sheriff's Office released a statement saying in part that information. Let's see who's this Van Beek fucking goddamn dickhole. Who is this Smegma King? All right, let's check out. We've got Paul Agneberg. And do they have the other guy? You got Paul Agneberg, and then you have this Van Beek. Is this Van Beek? Can this possibly be the Van Beek guy that... No, we're going to Sheriff Brad Rogers. I don't know. What in the hell? Okay, let's just type in the guy's name. What was it? Van Beek? Vanderbeek? I don't want your life. I think he delivered that line perfectly. I mean, I'm still saying it after 17,000 years. Van Beek, Sheriff of Eagle County? No. Okay. I'm the only candidate up here that's sitting up here that don't have an outstanding warrant for his arrest. I just want you to know that as well. So I'm sure they're going to just, I mean, it seems like it's a simple traffic dispute, right? So this should just be quick and easy, right? Okay, so get some insurance and get the car registered, right? Get everything legal and it should be A-okay. I mean, how much are they going to try to, is he right? Do the police in Colorado, they just want to intimidate and use violence and they're just, basically they're just gangs, right? They're just gangs going around attacking people? Is that... You can take it up with the judge. It's not a legitimate warrant. And then the deputy said you could take it up with the judge. Well, you could take it up with the judge. Which judge? I don't know which judge. You're just kind of making up crap. Hey, look, I got the uniform and I got the hat. If I got the hat and the uniform, that means I get to arrest you. That's what my mama said. What does the U.S. Constitution say? I don't listen to I listen to Colorado's Constitution. What? That's right. The Eagle County Sheriff's Office released a statement saying in part that information about the active warrants was passed to Paul Agneberg before the candidate forum. Oh, that's interesting. So they might say, look, man, you know you got these warrants. You're probably going to get arrested. If you come to debate me, you think you could debate me? James Vanderbeek? He said he didn't want his father's life, and yet look at him. He's fallen right in his father's footsteps. You know who's more powerful than the sheriff in Colorado? The DA. When I think about making a fair system, you can arrest a cop. You can arrest a judge. I don't think it's possible to arrest a DA. I think it's virtually fucking impossible to arrest the DA in Colorado. As law enforcement, we're obligated to comply with all warrants issued, but we can use discretion in how it's handled. In this case, we determined that he wasn't a threat to the community. Why did they talk? He went to the debate, and he didn't, throw something or, challenge you to a fist fight or, a duel, or to a game of hacky sack, or James Bond 007. The arrest could wait until after the candidate form so that Agni Bird could make his candidacy positions heard. Agneberg said he was unaware of the warrant until the day of the debate. He called the sheriff's office several times, investigating the amount of income that they make on victimless crimes. The final time I called, they transferred me to the undersheriff. The undersheriff said, "Hey, Paul, do you know that you got 2 warrants out for your arrest? Says you're likely to be arrested tonight if law enforcement is present." Paul Agneberg said, "I thought it was kind of an intimidation tactic to throw me off my game. But it really shook me up." Well, yeah. So, wow. That fucking, race just got super interesting. Now it's going to get national headlines. Nobody was really paying attention to it. Now everybody's going to pay attention to it. And, if I just judge strictly based on their faces and nothing more, just a very superficial, nothing more, that Van Beek looks dumb as shit. Don't he look like he is like the dumbest motherfucker you've ever seen? So if I'm just basing it on the people's faces, it seems like the sheriff of Eagle County is dumb as shit, and you have this other guy who's basically should win the election because he's a regular everyman. He's a regular guy. He's a man of the people, and he's saying he's sick of these fucking criminal fucking cops criminalizing us. And then guess what happened to him at the debate? Yeah, he's right. The main point of the law is to prevent one person from injuring another person. You got to have a victim. You got to have a victim. Without a victim, and they are overzealous and trigger happy, and they don't protect and serve. There's 5 cops that I like. Serpico. I like bad Frank Phillips, which is out of the Hatfield and McCoy, West Virginia versus Kentuckian. Fuck them goddamn Hatfields. Thank God you had Frank Phillips that went and arrested those bastards who had outstanding warrants. So that is actually, if there's an outstanding warrant, you should arrest it. But I think you could also summon him. In Colorado, you got 2 ways that you actually got 9 ways that you could, start the criminal proceedings. But summons, you could have just presented a summons to him. Do you think he's not a threat to he's going to go to the court? All you had to do is just provide him with paperwork. Or you can make it super simple, like they did with that tax fraud thing, where they just say it'll be $1,000 bail. We're just going to go book you, bring your $1,000, and you'll come right back. So, is that how they did it? If they made it any more complicated than that, I mean, all this just screams out fucking shenanigans. All this is just, you're going to arrest your opposition, fucking cheating sons of bitches. That's not fucking fair. How's that fair? Sheriff has to be fair. So that doesn't say fairness what's so motherfucking goddamn fucking ever. In Eagle County, is Eagle County where what's his name was from? I feel like I've heard of Eagle County. What have I heard of Eagle County for? It's not Barry Morphew, is it? Canyon City, I don't know. The scenery seemed the same, but I don't know. And there you go. That's the story of the Eagle County Sheriff. I don't even know I bet he's the Democrat and the incumbent's the Republican. Just guessing. Again, based on just their faces. The guy who got arrested is in the right, and the guy who had him arrested is in the wrong. He didn't even have a judge's to put, basically the cop is like, I'm going to do you fucking violence whether you like it or not. Take it up with the judge because I committed myself to doing violence to you. So, yeah, there's a warrant. They said I have to do violence to you. I have discretion, but I really like hurting people. And that's really why I became a cop in the first place. I just love, pulling out my gun, scaring everybody. That's why I became a police officer. So, yeah, hopefully Paul Agneberg wins his election. He's the regular guy. He's the regular everyman. But a lot of people just blindly, obey authority. But that other guy's the authority. That's what the point of an election is. Let the election decide it. You could have also waited till after the election. You told him about it. You could have summoned him. Why didn't you summons him? Van Beek, you didn't summons him because you were trying to fuck him over. If you knew he would go to court, you could just summons him. Here's your summons. And there's like 7 other ways to start criminal proceedings. But these fucking cops, they just want to, like he said, just fucking violence, intimidation, start shit where shit ain't even being started. And then pretend they're doing it all in the name of fucking law and order. When my dog did a police action, they didn't like that in Costilla County. When I did a police action, they didn't like that in Costilla County. They don't provide police protection, and they don't allow you to enforce the law, even though you have citizens arrest in Colorado. So really, he could have turned the tables on them and said, if you put your hands on me, I'll arrest you for assault. If you put your hands on me, I'll arrest you for, tampering with the corpse. I'll arrest you. I'll find some goddamn charge. If you put your hands on me, that's what, harassment. It's not really an assault, like, bodily injury, but it's a harassment or something, isn't it? Nope, you're not going to arrest me. That's a false arrest. That's also official misconduct. So, yeah. We got police reform here in Colorado now, so you can't do that shit no more.